Good morning YouTube, I'm OGF. This is a Husqvarna Svartpilen 401 we're going to review today. Welcome to the channel. Now I've been riding this motorcycle for the last 2 to 3 days in the city, heading to work and back in peak traffic here in Mumbai. Captured a couple of bad Mumbai driver clips as well. Today I am riding it out on the highway. I'm not too sure how far I'm going to go with it, but I'm going to take it on the Eastern Express Highway and then on that road to Lonavala, because honestly every other road in Mumbai sucks at this point, and heading anywhere else apart from that really does not make any sense. First things first, let's get some fuel in this. Full tank please. Alright, quick fuel stop done. And we'll talk about this firstly since we're here. They've now upgraded this from a 9.5 litre tank to a 13.5 litre tank instead, which I think is a smart move considering that this is now a 401 instead of a 250. I love the way that dash lights up in fluorescent green whenever you go past a certain revs. Yeah, it wasn't boring to ride in the city. It's definitely not going to be boring to ride on the highway either. Yeah, so let's start off as usual by talking about the rider's triangle and the comfort of this motorcycle, and why you might hear me laughing during the course of the next few minutes. But the foot pegs are pretty high up for a Svartpilen, and I'm saying that because I've had the chance to ride both the Vitpillen and the Svartpilen 250s, and they're placed, from what I remember, similar to like they were on the Vitpillen 250. Now why that's weird is because the Vitpillen was more of a cafe racer, a neo cafe racer, which was meant to put you in a aggressive stance while riding. The Svartpilen was not. In addition, the Svartpilen's handlebars were a little higher up. The Vitpillen came with similar clip-ons that you got on something like the KTM RC390 back in the day, but they've changed that now. They've given this a very low handlebar, and it's almost flat if you look at it, and puts you in a crouched, somewhat aggressive riding position, similar to what you would have found on the Vitpillen back in the day. When you advertise this as a scrambler, it's kind of confusing why you would do that, because I think they got the Svartpilen right the first time with the way the ergonomics were set up for what it was designed for. Here is just a mix between the Vitpillen and the Svartpilen, and I don't think you're getting the best of either worlds with this. You either go all out aggressive or you go all out comfortable. Strangely enough, now that they've given it that aggressive rider's triangle, I think they've still given it a very comfortable seat. I remember the Gen 1 Huskies being very plush, and these ones are no different. What I like about it is that they've given it the same hardware that they've given the Duke 390 as well. They've given it adjustable suspension up front, rebound and compression, and they've given it adjustable suspension at the back too. They've given you preload and they've given you rebound. I rode the bike in its stock setup when I received it for the last couple of days in the city, and I felt that the rear kept on being a little too soft, so I kind of bumped up the preload on that and set the suspension to be a little harder than it was. I think it was probably on its softest setting at that point. I think I'm 2 clicks away from the topmost setting on this, and I think that's a sweet spot because it's been handling much better. And mind you, I'm about 70 kgs, so I'm not really that heavy, which is why I didn't bump it all the way up, and I didn't plan on riding it as aggressively. Our roads are shit, so I wasn't really going to be putting my back through that kind of torture. But in this setting, I think it's a lot more rideable and it's a lot more thrilling an experience to have. Yeah, I was expecting a lot more traffic riding out today because it's a long weekend and I'm guessing everyone's heading to Goa or some other location on this road. So yeah, not surprised that we've got traffic over here. I don't think that's stock on a Wagoner, that rear windshield wiper. I think this guy has modified it, if that's the right word to use. While looks are subjective, I like what they've done with the motorcycle. They've made it a bit beefier. From what I'm told, it's about 20% longer and 20% wider. That's what she said. Well, morons all around. Morons all around. Yeah, what I do find strange about the instrument console is that that indicator for the engine coolant temperature is always at the top. So you're constantly wondering whether the bike is about to overheat and shut down. But that's never happened. In fact, the fan does kick in early, and the only real heat I've experienced from the motorcycle is from the left side. I think there's some shroud which kind of directs air towards your left knee. But it's not unbearable and it's not a deal breaker. Even in peak traffic, I don't think that would be a problem for you. The headlight on this is absolutely brilliant. Apart from the way it looks, I know that's a hit and miss design with some people. You'll see all kinds of jokes about ring lights on the internet about it. But in all honesty, it works really well. The low beam is adequate. The high beam is excessive. And if you want to overtake and flash people, it doesn't take too long for them to move out of the way, because you will notice this thing coming in your rear view mirror. So this is low beam, and as you can see, this is pretty bright and well defined as well where it ends. You can see the top over there, and then this is high beam. More than enough light that you need. And that's when you flash people. The lights, I mean. Now, Husqvarna has given this motorcycle ABS and traction control as standard, but what KTM have done is kept the lean sensitive abilities of ABS and traction control exclusive to their motorcycles. So you don't get cornering ABS and lean sensitive traction control on this. And because of that, I believe you don't get ride modes either. So while there is a screen which you can flip through to show you the different ride modes, the only available option in there is street mode, and that's the default setting you'll be in throughout. And in all honesty, I don't think most people who are looking at buying a 399cc motorcycle are beginners, so lean sensitive traction control maybe is not something you'd be considering when you're buying a bike. I'm sure it'll be a great asset to new motorcyclists, but to experienced riders who are moving up from a 150 or a 250, I think you should be fine on this without traction control being lean sensitive. Mind you, that's the only thing that KTM have taken away from the Husky. Apart from that, the engine, the gearing, the frame, well, at least the main frame, the subframe is different, but everything else is pretty much the same compared to the Duke 390. So I think KTM and Husqvarna have done a great job doing that, because I think this would appeal to a more sophisticated audience, and if you cut them off performance, then, well, they're not really going to buy the bike. People want to stay away from the brand image that KTM have kind of set up for themselves over the last few years, being a very aggressive, ready-to-race brand, and not everyone wants to be street Rossies, so some people just want a sophisticated product which offers them a decent amount of thrill, and I think that this fits in that gap perfectly. While the handlebar on this motorcycle isn't the widest that I've experienced, I don't think it hinders the performance in any way. The motorcycle is still very flickable through traffic and easy to put into a corner and stay planted on the line too. What I think it could benefit from is a set of heavier bar end weights, because there is a bit of vibrations that you experience in the handlebar as early as 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. And like all single cylinders coming out from Bajaj, KTM, Husqvarna, and now most recently I think MV Agusta is going to be part of it too, there are going to be vibrations, and they do smoothen out at higher revs. I'm given to believe that the new 390 Duke also has similar issues with vibration, and it's strange because my 373cc KTM Adventure 390 seems a lot more refined than this bike, so I don't know what they've done with the engine. While I'm sure there's more power on tap and it's more performance oriented, I don't think it has the same amount of refinement that the earlier gen 390s had. It is amazing what the right suspension setup can do for a motorcycle. Up until last night when I was riding the bike in the softer settings, and I've been tweaking it around every now and then to see what works and what doesn't, and until last night I wasn't really too happy with the way the suspension was set up, and I thought there's really no other setting that I would be able to gain anything from. But lo and behold, man, I've set the suspension to a harder setting at the rear, and it's made a world of difference to how this motorcycle behaves. Yeah, this whole luggage rack system that they've got on the tank doesn't really make sense to me. From what I understand from the research that I've done, in the UK you do get some official Husqvarna accessories, which includes a tank bag that sticks onto this like a magnet. I'm not too sure how that works, but it does so, and I don't think this is magnetic at all. This is a plastic unit from what I've seen. I don't know if there's some sort of metallic elements within this. Yeah, but I've tried to put my Kriega on this, my 10-liter Kriega. I've tried putting the raw gear tail bag that I've got. I've tried putting the Rhinox tank bag on this, and I've also tried putting the Carbonaro tail bag that I've got on this, but none of them seem to fit here because there's really no space to put straps through this. I think only at the front over here is where you can put some straps, but apart from that there's really no other loops that you can create around this. So it'll be interesting to see what their answer is, if they do have any answers to the accessories on this, but for now we really can't do much with that. Oh wow, the range on this has now gone up to 300 kilometers, even though I have been riding it like a bit of a hooligan. Yeah, the brakes on this work really well, and I've been using only the front brakes throughout my time with it. They're not sintered pads, and that's what makes this even weirder, because they bite so well, they offer you so much feedback. I'm not too sure how Husqvarna has managed to do this, but they're brilliant brakes to work with, and at no point in time that I feel that there's an upgrade that's required. Well, people seem to love it. That's it. End of review. Yeah, what I do find kind of weird, and I don't know whether this is the ABS kicking in a little early or whether it's the tires losing grip when you do this, but if you do slam on the brakes, the ABS does kick in. So again, it comes with brilliant tires which ideally would work really well off-road on a off-road oriented motorcycle. This designed to be a scrambler but having sport bike ergonomics, I don't know how well that works, and I don't know how many people are going to be taking this motorcycle off-roading. Personally, what I do is I probably swap over the wheels to alloy wheels that you get on the Svartpilen or on any of the KTMs for that matter, and change the tires to something a little more sport oriented, like, I don't know, maybe the Alpha H1s from Apollo, the TVS Eurogrip tires, or even the Michelin Road 5 tires that you get on the TVS motorcycles. Those are really, really good tires, both for the street and for the track. I do hope that Husqvarna and KTM do decide to get the Svartpilen 401 to India as well, because that would then save you the trouble of having to make those changes to the wheels and tires and give you a motorcycle with similar levels of performance and equal amount of thrills. Let's give you a listen to what the exhaust sounds like. Alright, that's pretty much all I had for today. Thank you again so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you did not, please share feedback. A special thank you to everyone who shared your questions both on YouTube and on Instagram, and yeah, thank you for making the video a lot more informative. As always guys, at least wear your helmets while riding your motorcycles and ride safe. It's a freaking jungle out there. Goodbye.